My mother threw me away like trash after she married her second husband. Now she's crawling back to me and accusing me of abandoning my family because they are now living in the streets. I am my mother's oldest biological child. When I was 5, my father passed away and she remarried my stepdad when I was 8. When I was 9, I was sent away to live with my father's sister who lived states away because her husband didn't want me to live there anymore. They used to pay my aunt some money to watch me, but when I was 14, that stopped. My aunt and uncle worked low-paying jobs and had 2 of their own children, so they really couldn't afford the extra expense of having me around without that help. Despite that, they let me stay and continued to treat me like one of their own. I very rarely saw my mom. I think I saw her 5 times between 9 and 18. She never even called. She went on to have 3 more children with my stepdad. Growing up, I used to stalk my siblings and parents on social media to see what their life was like, and it was polar opposite to mine. They regularly went on expensive vacations, lived in a massive house, and owned the latest gadgets, etc. I went to college and got married at 23. My mother's siblings have no idea I'm married. I'm currently 28 and doing well financially. My husband and I own our own home. We have several very profitable investments and work high-paying jobs. My cousins and I all contributed to helping my aunt and uncle to finally purchase their own home last year. Recently, my mom showed up at my aunt's house begging for financial help. Apparently, my stepdad suffered from a gambling addiction a few years ago and lost all their savings. Now with CVID, he's lost his job and they can't afford to keep their house without help. My aunt explained she didn't have any money to help her, and when my mother demanded to know how she could afford her new house if she had no money, she explained what me and my cousins had done. My mom then asked for my number. When she called me and explained the situation, I told her I couldn't help. She kept begging me and claimed my siblings would be made homeless if I didn't help them. I told her maybe she should sell some of their fancy stuff, or they could all get jobs like my cousins and I had to. I hung up before she could reply. Since then, I have been receiving message after message from my mom, my siblings, and even my stepdad begging me for help. I have never spoken to my siblings in my life. They've begun harassing my husband and my sil. They've also reached out to my aunt and cousins multiple times trying to get them to convince me to change my mind. I'm so angry with them all. They threw me away, and when they need something, they come crawling back. Update. So, I thought that things couldn't get any worse after my last post, but boy was I wrong. The guilt was eating away at me after my mom, siblings, and even my stepdad started bombarding me and my husband with messages. I was starting to question myself. Was I being too harsh? But then things escalated, and I realized just how manipulative they all really are. It started with social media. My mother decided to post a long rant on Facebook, tagging me in it, saying how I've abandoned my family and how heartless I've become. She painted herself as this tragic victim who just wanted to give her children a better life, and now her eldest, me, had turned her back on them in their time of need. Of course, her friends and distant relatives, people I hadn't seen or spoken to in years, jumped in, calling me selfish, and accusing me of abandoning my own blood. But that wasn't enough for her. Oh no. She started reaching out to my workplace. Yes, my actual job, trying to stir up trouble. I work in a high-pressure environment, and the last thing I needed was her calling my office and trying to get in touch with me during meetings or through reception. She left multiple voicemails, saying I owe her for everything she's done for me, and that I should step up for my siblings. That was already way over the line, but she wasn't done. The final straw came when she showed up at my workplace. One afternoon, I'm in the middle of a presentation when I get pulled aside by security. Apparently, my mother had come into the building hysterically screaming for me. She was demanding to see me, causing a huge scene in the lobby. I watched from a distance as security tried to escort her out. She wouldn't leave without telling everyone that I owed her and how I was going to let her and my siblings lose everything. She claimed I was obligated to help because she's my mother. The moment I saw her in that state, angry, desperate, shouting about how I had ruined her life, I knew I had made the right decision in cutting them off. I hadn't realized just how deep her entitlement ran until that moment. Security eventually had to call the police because she refused to leave. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. I stood there watching her be taken away by the guards. Part of me felt sad, but mostly I felt relieved. She wasn't my problem anymore. After the incident, I went straight to the police station and reported everything. Her harassment, the messages, the calls, and showing up at my job. They advised me to file a restraining order, and I'm seriously considering it now. My mother and siblings have no right to demand anything from me, especially after years of neglect and abandonment. I haven't heard from her since the police were involved, but I'm still processing the whole thing. I thought I could just walk away and never look back, but this situation has shown me how toxic and entitled my mother is. I'm angry, hurt, and honestly, just done. I don't owe them anything. They threw me away, and now they're facing the consequences of their actions.